Before we get going, let me make one thing crystal clear. What you're about to hear is based on real transcripts, expert legal takes, and media reports. And yes, some of it's opinion, some of it's speculation, and some of it's just me using my damn brain. I ain't saying every word is gospel, but I am saying this. The system's crooked, the facts are messy, and somebody's got to talk about it. You want sugar-coated fairy tales? Go turn on the fake news. You want the truth, raw and real? Let's get to work. Court's in session. All right, folks, listen up. I'm gonna say this real slow so the media, the haters, and every self-appointed keyboard prosecutor can understand what just happened in that courtroom. Sean Diddy Combs was found not guilty of the most serious charges against him: racketeering and sex trafficking. Let me repeat that, not guilty. Now, before anybody starts foaming at the mouth, let's break down why that matters. The RICO charge, that was a potential life sentence. The sex trafficking charges, minimum 15 years. These ain't small accusations. They're massive. But the prosecution didn't deliver. The jury said it loud and clear. We don't believe you proved it. And you know why? Because the burden of proof in this country is beyond a reasonable doubt. That's not just some catchy phrase from law school. That's the very backbone of our justice system. And in this case, there was doubt, and plenty of it, with reason attached. Let's start with Cassie Ventura. Yeah, we all saw the video. And let me be clear, that video was disgusting. Nobody's excusing physical abuse. But here's the thing. That video didn't show sex trafficking. It didn't prove racketeering. What it proved is that Diddy's got serious personal demons. But the trial wasn't about being a bad boyfriend. It was about whether he orchestrated a criminal enterprise to exploit women across state lines under force, fraud, or coercion. And the jury didn't buy that. Now, Cassie's own text messages came out in court, saying things like, "I can't wait to freak-offs. I love our freak-offs when we both want them." Let's pause right there. When we both want them. That's not coercion, folks. That's called consent. She said it. She lived the lifestyle for years. In fact, she said she loved the trappings of that life. Private jets, parties, the whole 9 yards. Same with Jane Doe. She's still got her apartment paid for by Diddy to this very day. And she stayed in that arrangement after the alleged abuse. Now, I'm not saying these women didn't experience trauma, but trauma and criminality are two different things in the eyes of the law. Then there's the prosecution's so-called slam dunk testimony. Escorts, receipts, hotel logs. Sure, it paints a wild picture, but even the escorts testified that they were paid and they knew what they were doing. No one claimed they were forced. No threats, no blackmail, no chains or cages. Just money exchanged for adult services. Now, call it immoral if you want, but don't call it sex trafficking when the alleged victims were willing participants. Let's be honest, this wasn't a sex trafficking case. It was a political trophy hunt. The prosecutors were swinging for headlines. They went in thinking they were going to bury Diddy under RICO statutes like it was a mob takedown. Instead, they got him on the two least serious charges: transportation to engage in prostitution. That's it. No organized criminal empire, no coercion, no forced labor, and hey, look, I ain't blind. I know how this game works behind the scenes. You think it's just about evidence and charges? Come on. This was a high-profile case, with political pressure from every angle, and let's not ignore the elephant in the courtroom. Homeland Security and the U.S. Attorney's Office, both full of left-wing prosecutors, went all in on this one. Now tell me it ain't a little convenient that one of those prosecutors just happens to be the daughter of a powerful political family, one that leans hard to the left. That kind of legacy matters. Influence matters. You think a prosecutor's last name doesn't carry weight in that building? I got news for you. It does. A different team, a different political leaning, this case might have looked very different. Instead, what we saw was an overreach, a fishing expedition, and the jury threw it back. And now, I'm hearing rumors, just rumors, mind you, that one of the jurors may have been tampered with, that there may be an outside influence affecting the verdict. If that's true, then this whole thing's got a new shadow hanging over it, because all it takes is one juror to tilt the scales, one voice in the room to shut down a conviction. And if that voice wasn't acting on their own, then we got a whole new issue of justice being compromised. Even legal analysts are saying it. This was a major defeat for the government. And if the judge has any sense of proportion, Diddy might get a couple years, tops. Maybe even just time served. So what's next? Diddy walks free on the biggest charges. And I'll go a step further. He should appeal those 2 lesser convictions, because when the foundation of a trial is cracked, everything built on top of it becomes suspect, because even those rest on shaky ground when you factor in what the defense laid out, that the women not only consented, they initiated some of these events. Now look, I ain't saying Diddy's a saint. Far from it. But being a flawed man doesn't make you a criminal mastermind. You don't throw someone in prison for life because they're a bad partner. And you don't convict because of public opinion, Twitter mobs, or media outrage. You convict when there's proof. Not feelings, not guesses, proof. Let me remind you, this is the same U.S. Attorney's Office that brought charges they had no business bringing. You know what Alan Dershowitz, a man who's been teaching criminal law longer than most of these prosecutors have been alive, said? He said this was a state case at best. If anything, they should have charged Diddy with assault for what we all saw in that video. But instead, they tried to turn it into a RICO operation, a national, international conspiracy. That fell apart because it was built on sand. Oh, and let's not forget what came out in the Benny Johnson interview. Multiple sources close to the courtroom claim that Diddy's influence extended far beyond just lawyers. We're talking narrative control, potential juror interference, and serious rumors that the man had help shaping how this trial was perceived. And there's even talk, wild as it may sound, that Obama's name got dragged into this. You don't hear that every day. Whether or not it holds water, it tells you this trial was about more than just guilt or innocence. It was about power. So yeah, this was a win for Diddy. But more importantly, it was a win for reasonable doubt, for the Constitution, for the idea that even a powerful man, even a controversial one, still gets the same standard of justice as anyone else. Bottom line, the prosecution failed. The jury did their job, and Diddy, love him or hate him, deserved a fair trial. This isn't about defending celebrities. It's about defending the law. And if we let politics, legacy names, and media pressure dictate who gets charged and how, then none of us are safe. And if that bothers you, maybe you're not mad at the verdict. Maybe you're mad that the evidence didn't match your emotions. That's not how courtrooms work. That's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but. And if you don't like it, take it up with the jury, case closed. For now. So hit that subscribe button, comment below, and tell me what you think, like the video, and please share it so others can find us. That's all I got for now. This is Vinny Gambini, best lawyer you ever seen, hands down, and I'll talk to you all next time. Vinny out.